in Avisail Garcia, who did get a pinch hit appearance, and then Darno at catcher for my all-day slate. So what you gonna do? I'm just gonna say those guys went 0 for 4 each, and then I'm gonna live. It's only like $20, so whatever. All right, we're live. We're live before lock. Let's get this show on the road. I think we have everybody coming in. I got the tweet out. If you want to retweet that, let's do that. Let's get show a little love here. Show a little love for me and Jake. We're coming back. 2 shows today. My third, actually, for this slate, because I did talk pitching with Adam. And it's been a good one. I've got some golf teams that are live. That's
Really?
always nice. I've got several. I got about 20% 6 for 6 through. On Yahoo, apparently everybody got 6 for 6 through, so that didn't really help me. But had my best one. I had one guy, Danny Lee, missed the cut. Not even close. He was like 3 back. Otherwise, that one was doing quite well until, they started backing off my player holes remaining. Very sad. Very sad. But let's give everybody a chance to get on in here, and then we will get going because we do have 7:05 start. We have 11 games, and then I'm going to make a couple teams here on air for Yahoo. I've got, I think, are we still waiting on the Angels? Is the only one.
Yeah, I think, the Angels is the only one.
And I'm guessing that's going to be a combination of, does Pujols play? He didn't play last night. And then Upton's been a little dinged up. So that's my guess. Now, again, that game starts at 9:07, so we will have that probably in the next 20 minutes would be my guess. But we will have it before lock, no matter what. But we are live before lock. It's your old pal Emac and one Jake Harvey calling in from Kandahar. He's got a few minutes away from the green zone, shall we say. And here he is, hanging out with us, drinking a cold sudsy bottle of, what do you have? Bohemian beer?
Omission ale. Pale ale. Pretty good.
And I have a full glass of Diet Pepsi. I've got my backup can right here. I had to fill a bunch of store-bought ice because it's so humid here that the ice machine ice from our fridge just melts way too quick. It's just not fun. It's not fun at all.
Ice is important for drinks of any kind, so
absolutely
you gotta have that right type of ice at least.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to drop in the old spotlight hitters and stacks article. Got you covered here for the main, the evening, and the late slate. There's a 2-game late slate, 4-game 8 o'clock slate, and then there is a 11-gamer here. We are starting at 7:05. We've got the Baltimore Orioles and Tampa Bay coming back. We have a lot of contests. DK has been pumping out a lot of the low dollar stuff, which has been kind of fun thus far today. So I've entered a ton of lineups, and we're gonna have some fun here. I've got like 600 lineups in for my $200. So
you mean 600 entries, right?
600 entries.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
I will run 400 or 500 lineups. Will be my guess, because I like to double up on anything that's ticket contests, winner take all, or boosters, because there's nothing worse than winning one of those and not having it anywhere else,
right,
or just missing one of those, especially the winner take all, and not having it anywhere else. So I've learned that lesson, tweak things around. I like the winner take alls for baseball. I did a lot with hockey, as you know, especially during the playoffs there. So I've really gotten into them. I only would put in 1 or 2 in each for NBA, just because I feel it's harder to break free from the pack. Not as much variance in that sport. I will play. Last year I was doing like 1 into every one in the dollar and the quarters on DK, just because I figured, well, if you have in a bunch, that doesn't help you. But I've reevaluated my strategy, and I may be playing those a little more because they're fun. And you turn your dollar into 100 or your quarter into $50. And if you win 1 a week, you basically pay off your entries. If you win 2 a week, you're doing quite nicely. So that's kind of my approach on that. I've noticed you've been hanging out there in some of the low dollar contests as well. Have you been finding some success there?
It's been okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't track very often what I do in those contests. I've actually been doing something different the last couple of days as far as the contests I'm entering in. I haven't been maxing out. Like, I've been maxing out the $10 every once in a while, and I keep, like, the days I should be playing it based on how my scores look. I'm not playing it those days, so I'm just putting in like 20 entries into this $8 rally cap, which I think is actually a pretty good tournament, 110 max. That's similar to what they run out for hockey most nights, and that's the tournament that I play all the time for NHL. And then I put also 20 into the $15 with the 50K to first or whatever it is. So just trying to get more exposure without maxing out my entire bankroll into this higher dollar contests.
And that does make a lot of sense. For me, I'm trying to play steady. I have the similar mix to what I do on this stuff. I generally get all 10 of mine in Yahoo when I can. So I've got 4 more to build here. My stacks tonight are focused on Coors Field, no surprise. But there is no guarantee. We saw the Yankees come in with a massive implied run total, and then a combination of Toronto Blue Jays shut them down for the most part there. They came in with 7.4 implied run total. Did not come anywhere close to that. Coors Field sitting at 14. We'll see what happens. I really like the Angels going against Wade LeBlanc. I'm also strongly on the Mariners going against Matt Harvey. I did look at Matt Harvey. We talked about him a little bit. So he has been out of action since the 23rd of May. He did make a rehab appearance on June 8th. He went 83 pitches and then did not make another start again until July 2nd. He's been dealing with the back spasms. 46 pitches, and then he started on the 7th, which is about a week ago. So he's on regular rest. He went 72 innings. Now, these were PCL starts. I'm more concerned about the pitch count than anything else, but his action was kind of, In June, he may have come back a little too soon because he had shut it down for about 2 weeks, went back for a rehab start, gave up 8 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings, shut it down for nearly a full month again, came back for 4 innings, gave up 2 runs, 1 homer, went 46 pitches, and then his last start, it was adequate, 3.1 innings, but more importantly, 72 pitches. So that was one of the questions we were sort of quizzing each other on earlier in our morning show, saying how long do you think he will go? I still think it's going to be 4 innings and change at best. But now that I have that number, he is 26 on Yahoo. I do have him on a couple of my all-day slate teams on DraftKings, but I don't know how much else I'm going to get him. Have you done any of your crunches yet, or are you still waiting for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim?
I have done a crunch basically with all the lineups we have so far, so I pretty much know where I'm going to be at right now. It just depends on what kind of weights I want to give to my hitters, how much I want to prioritize them. Looking at it right now, I think I've just got their normal projections in. So that might throw off my stuff just a little bit. As far as Harvey, though, the more I prioritize bats, so the more I give bats a bump overall, the more I'm going to get Harvey, of course, because it'll just put him in with core stacks and Teron, Harvey combos and stuff like that. Right now, I had him at 10%. I guess Alex thinks he's going to be able to go deep enough, at least, to be worth it. So, yeah, I guess I kind of wrote him off earlier today. But it looks like we got him projected out pretty decently.
Yeah, and that's just, it's one of those. It's what are we going to do? I don't know, but we're going to do something. So let's kind of go thoughts here. If you want to pull up, I'm still getting my bearings here. If you want to pull up the stack tool, let's kind of start there as we're still waiting for the Angels lineup and see what sort of conversation that brings up with us. And we'll take some questions from chat. Again, we've got 55 minutes until lock, so we can talk a little bit about the different things. Again, Coors Field looks like it is going to be the place to be. But again, we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because they still got to play the game, but they've got some abominations on the mound there for pitching. So looking at the stacks tool amongst the more popular ones, let's do a quick run through FanDuel. We usually don't hit FanDuel all that often, but it looks like Cincinnati, Colorado, St. Louis, the Angels, Houston, they're all kind of mixed together. Now, Cincinnati, 17%. Tampa Bay getting a nice little bump there against John Means at 16%. Colorado at 10. Their key guys are priced up a little bit, and the other guys that are not priced up are a little bit scrubby. And then St. Louis, as we mentioned, everybody's cheap on every site going against Merrill Kelly. How are you feeling about, are you on any FanDuel contest tonight?
Yeah, I'm just playing the 150 quarter entry. And then the beanball, I think. So that's really about it. Looking at the teams that are going a little bit undervalued, actually, Cincinnati is going, they're being valued appropriately, it looks like, on FanDuel. When you compare their top stack percentage to their ownership share, so both around 17%. And then the other side of Coors is the most underutilized spot on the night. Just go by raw percentage. We've got Colorado being pretty under-owned, 15% chance of being the top stack compared to a 10% ownership share.
That does seem a little bit low with where everything is landing. Where is the bulk of your teams coming in your what's the one called that you and Josh like to battle each other in?
The beanball.
The beanball.
Yeah. The majority of my team exposure.
Yes, please.
Sure. The Angels, I'm getting a ton of, and then actually not getting a lot of Cincinnati. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because of ownership. Maybe I have ownership weighted a little bit too heavily. Yeah, it actually looks like I do. So I'm going to change that around just a little bit and see if my exposures change. See if my top 150 is going to be different now. Yeah, that's going to change things a little bit. So now I got up to a bunch of Cincinnati bats in the mid-teens. My highest exposed stack, though, on FanDuel right now is the Angels. So Upton, assuming he's in, which isn't a great assumption at this point, as you mentioned, Emac, Ohtani, Trout, of course, my highest owned hitter right now, 3x the field on FanDuel. And then, all these Angels secondary bats, Cincinnati, the clear number 2 after that. And then everyone else is kind of falling behind from me. What do you think about those two on FanDuel tonight?
I think that's all right. I dip in and out of FanDuel. I played a little bit there yesterday because I had some tickets that I'd won in the contest. I'll probably jump in. They tend to have these 50-cent contests on their sub-slates for tickets that generally fill about 70%. So I try to collect some tickets there, and that whatever their ridiculous rally, the super slugger, whatever their fun little alliteration is. But I've got a few contests or tickets into those. But I had to run 4 that I did yesterday. Of course, I missed 7 a couple weeks ago, which annoyed the hell out of me because they manage to send me emails all the time, but then never give me a heads up when the games are actually running. Yeah, that's on me. I get it. But shout out to Seth. He ended up clearing 2,500 in that contest last night. Nice little top finish there. But for me, not poking as much over there. But I think going with the double stacks, focusing on either the Mariners, the Angels, the Cincinnati Reds, and Colorado would be the way I would be doing it. And I'm willing to just go at pitcher. I think hitters are going to have to win the slate tonight. We've talked a lot on the earlier shows about how the good pitchers are in difficult situations, probably outside of Matt Boyd. On FanDuel, you've got, probably on Yahoo, you've got Boyd and Nola and Corbin. They're all kind of in that same price range, but Corbin and Nola are going against their respective teams, which is a little tough. So looking at our popularity there, I just did my San Diego hedge stack against our friend Julio Teheran, and now I'm going to do a little run here against Aaron Nola, I think.
Interesting. Why do you want to hedge against Nola?
Because the Nationals actually have gotten to him a couple times. He is. We have mentioned that he is much improved, worked out whatever sort of issues he was dealing with earlier, and is much better. But he is looking like he is probably the number 1 or 2 most popular pitcher there. Again, our popularity stuff is still in beta on that site, but that is something where I'm looking to leverage and try to be just a little bit different on one of my 10 I feel comfortable going towards in that one. I'm just going to call back up there. Ooh, we just got an ownership.
We just got ownership.
Update.
I was just going to say, and Nola's dropped from this morning. I haven't paid attention throughout the day to the main slate ownership, but on DraftKings especially, I'm pretty sure Nola was way up before. Tehran is stuck at that above 30% clip somehow. And Nola's just dropped just a little bit. So does that change your mind at all?
I'm gonna load it in here into Fantasy Cruncher again. Since that one is in beta, we don't have that auto feeding over, but you can still get relatively easily get this in, and you can watch. I just downloaded it when we said, hey, there's an ownership update, and this is how quickly it goes in. I am now loading it up into here because I've got my little steps down and firing it up. So this will give me a good look here. Suarez, definitely the most popular. I don't want to go against Sale. Nola's coming in at 32. Corbin only at 27. Yeah, I'm not feeling as strongly. I thought Nola would creep up there to about 45. Pardon me, to about 35 to 45%, closer to that 45, but he's not. So that makes it a little bit interesting. Sorry, I don't know how to turn these notifications off. I'm doing about 1 billion slow drafts here. No, I've got these are coming in from the Draft app.
Oh, weird. Okay, so
I've got them going to my computer, and then when I shut them down, it's a mess.
Yeah.
So I just
your browser sending you notifications, I'm guessing.
Oh no, I know how to shut down. Slack is pretty easy to shut down, but I still feel comfortable. So I'll put together a little lineup here and see what happens. I was sad that Matt Adams was not in the game. He'd be a guy I wanted against Nola. So my leverage against Nola is probably going to be about a 4-man national stack. I don't think we need to go all in on that one, especially where their prices are going to end up. So, excuse me, for me, it'll be Turner, Rendon, and Soto. So it looks like a 3-man is where I'm going to end up.
So, I mean, those are the guys you want if you're targeting against a really good pitcher. Those are some 3 very solid hitters and good DFS players. You got speed, power combo, and those 3 guys. So if Nola does get touched up, there's a good chance you're on the correct end of it.
Right. And the other good thing by doing that on Yahoo is I'm out of the Eugenio Suarez, Nolan Arenado. I'm out of Trevor Story and whoever is it Iglesias that's shortstop there, or Peraza. So this will make my lineup unique already. I just need to find a few cheapies to come in and get some decent pitching, but that is kind of my goal there. Where did you end up on your cheap pitching choices?
Looks like
Zach Davies is the one I'm specifically curious
about.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now it's Keller for me. He's kind of the clear number one. When I prioritize hitters a little bit more, I got to more Harvey, 15%. I got to 11% Davies, 10% of Hudson, who you mentioned earlier this morning. Tehran was exactly at the field right now. So that's where I'm at for cheap pitching. Not crazy different from the field it's looking like. Besides Keller, I guess I have 20% over the field right now.
How do you feel about going against Bumgarner? He is not quite picking up the traction I figured he would in this one. Are you comfortable with it? Do you want to just not mess with it?
Playing Brewers, you mean?
Yeah, playing the Brewers.
Yeah, I've got no problem playing the Brewers. The problem is there's just so many good stacks and also really good pitching too. So it's hard for me to put together what I view as a competitive Brewers lineup. Looking at my exposures, I got sub 5% of Yelich, Pena, and then basically sub 5% also of the rest of these Brewers. So if a stack sneaks in there, that's fine. If I get a few Yelich one-offs or whatever, I'm always fine with that. But they're just not quite making the cut for me, at least on DraftKings.
All right. And then where did you end up with on Charlie Morton being the most expensive guy out there tonight?
Yeah, I'm kind of where I wanted. Double the field right now. About double. I got 24% of Morton at this point, which is kind of where I wanted. So over on Morton. Actually, I'm over on Sale too right now, which I did not expect to see happen. I guess lineup construction is just easier than it usually is. Did you find yourself getting into a lot of sales as well?
I haven't looked, or I haven't run my DK yet. I'm still finishing up the old Yahoo, but I suspect. So I've gone back and forth on this one. I don't think I'm going to try to force him in. I think I'm just going to go with bats tonight. So let me get over to. I should probably open the Fantasy Cruncher for that one and load some projections because hey, that's going to be important in just a moment here. So I would suspect I'll set my cap 50% more than whatever the field is. If I get a little more, I'm okay with it. Potentially, this feels like one of those where, we've been playing him when he's been very expensive and in good matchups, and he's kind of not necessarily gotten it done to where we would have liked. But I think less people will be on him tonight, and a masterful performance, say 10 double-digit strikeouts, is going to be in play for this one. So I'm just kind of curious to see where he comes out for me on the old DK, and I'm looking. Gotta fix the pictures here. Get Brendan McKay out of there. Get Brooks out of there. And get John Means back in. And let's look here. We've got a whole lot of them. So Morton at 13%. I'm gonna set I'm gonna set it at 25 for him. I think he's a guy where I'm good going with the differentiation. When it comes down to Sale, though, it's hard. He's 34%. I'll set it for 40. I suspect I'll get about 20 at the most, at the very most.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so when you run crunches and you're not doing anything in Excel, I think I heard you say this on a show maybe with Josh last Sunday or something, but do you leave lineups left over at the end in case you're low on something you want to get more of?
Yeah, so say let's just use these as just easy percentages. So say I was going to run 400 lineups. Just let's do the math. I'm going to run 80 at 4-4s, 80 at 4-0, 80 at 5-0, and 80 at 5-2. And occasionally, this is a bigger slate. On the smaller slates, 8 or so, I'll probably change that 4-4 to a 4-3. Just to give myself a little more wiggle room, and I start at that from that standpoint. And then what I do is I go in and put all the teams in. Like tonight, I'll put all the teams in at probably 3%, maybe 5%, because I know some of them are going to fall out. And then I'll pick the key teams that I like. And in this case, it would be St. Louis, the Coors Field game, and then the last game of the night, the Mariners and Anaheim. I'll put them at like 10% or 15%. So that way, I'm still getting a little bit of some of the other teams, because if you start too high, it's just going to give you stuff, and you may not get the ones you want. You're not going to get a nice little spread. If you set every team at 15%, you're going to probably on tonight get 8 teams out of the 22 with any sort of volume at all, and that is not where I want to end up. I like the spread them out approach here, but strategically spread them out, because you only need 1 or 2 just to break free from the pack, as Josh likes to say. And you get those little weird ones where all of a sudden you end up with Tampa Bay with the right players in it, and you get the double dong, or you get the Mariners in a bad matchup, or you get Cincinnati at home but against a tough pitcher, you get Philadelphia, etc. The ones that you normally wouldn't get to, you get a little sprinkling of them. And that's where I found, especially in these winner take alls, boosters, etc., that makes all the difference in the world for your end results. So that's kind of been my steady approach, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's a lot how I used to do it too. I used to crunch and recrunch and crunch until I kind of got something that I was comfortable with. And now, like, just trying to base it more on lineup construction itself, I just kind of take what I get, and you can play around with it a little bit. If you multiply your hitters by 1.5 and you don't like what it looks like, you can do 1.25 or 2x if you're not getting enough of the heavy hitters that you want. So you can do stuff like that. But I've kind of gotten away from that. But it is interesting, like just running, like leaving 15 lineups at the end, so 10% of your lineups are running 150. I think is a pretty smart thing to do if you feel like you're not getting something you think you should be getting to.
Yeah, and one of the things I see that I'm not getting, so I've got let me put my 10 lineups up here, and then I'm just setting some later lineups because I'm going to go back and have to chase these. So I've got Bauer on a couple. I only have Morton on one. I've got some Nola. I've got a fair amount of Matt Boyd. So I'm going to turn one of my Matt Boyd lineups here into Morton just to get a little bit more differentiation there. It looks like Julio Teheran's coming in as my secondary pitcher on Yahoo at a relatively hefty 4 of my 10. So that's sort of where I did go with one San Diego stack against them. I have one Corbin because I think it's a tougher matchup. Let's see, 1-2 Nola at this point. So I got to figure out which one I want to turn into a second Charlie Morton here. And we shall see. Probably going to have to... I only have one Bumgarner. Did you get much Bumgarner at all?
I don't know if I even got to a share of Bumgarner. Let me see here. Let's filter out by pitchers. Oh, I got to 2 out of 150, 1.3%.
Oh my, that's pretty low. Where is
yeah? There's just other options that are cheaper that I think have the same upside. And
the 37 on Yahoo kind of is influencing this. So he's coming in $7-8 cheaper than kind of the Boyds, the Nolas, the Corbins, etc.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But if I get a second lineup here, but I'm liking all the lineups I have. This makes it hard. But if I can just get a second lineup with Morton, I will be now 50% above the field because I will have 20%. Not quite 50%. They're at 15. So,
That FOMO, man, that'll get you in trouble is the problem. Because especially on a night like tonight where you've got so many good pitchers. You got Morton, you got Nola, you got Bauer, who we haven't even spoken a word about in 25 minutes. Sale, obviously. You got a bunch of cheap options. You've got all these quality stacks. You're going to get a low-owned Brewers team. You're going to get the team. No one's going to be on the Phillies or the Nationals. No one's going to be on the Red Sox or the Dodgers. But like you just have to weigh. Is getting those things helping or hurting you when that's just one more lineup when you're not playing Colorado or Cincinnati, who by far have the best chance of being the top stacks.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to let it ride.
That's one way to do it.
One Bumgarner, one Bauer, one Morton, couple Davies, 4 Teheran, couple Nolas, and then mostly Matt Boyd. I'm seeing Matt Boyd is only coming in at 18%. I'm okay using that as my differentiation spot, kind of going a little bit away from Nola. So we'll see. I could be happy, I could be sad. Check in tomorrow when I'm on air at noon with one Josh Engelman as we do live before lock for Sundays. Reminder, I dropped in that spotlight hitters and stacks. If you guys have not yet joined Yahoo, and I will kind of stop talking unless we get any questions about it, but third paragraph in there will get you the link and instructions on how to sign up. Come in on our link, use the promo code OSMO. We get a little hat tip from them, and you guys get $30 up to your first $30 in your initial DFS deposit bonus in YSRPs. That's Yahoo Sports Rewards points. And if you have played fantasy season long there for money, that doesn't count as their daily fantasy, is what they've explained to me. But if you've done anything at daily fantasy where you've put money in, this is just a one-time deal. But if you have not done it, they got the management fee free contests, $3,000 typically in, or let me rephrase that, $3,000 to $6,000 in, same out. Those things fill up around lunchtime the next day. Tomorrow, they'll fill up probably around 11:30 or so because it's a 1 o'clock lock for the main slate. Mm-hmm. They run all their slates from whatever the lock is through the rest of the games, so it's a lot of fun there. So when they run their 8 o'clocks tonight, you're going to get all the way to the end. Now there's just one game there, but like the other night when we had 3 10 o'clock games, it was kind of fun because you could still get like a 9-game slate where the other sites had cut it down to 3, 4, or 5. So right. Just wanted to put that.
Yeah, I mean, you should be playing Yahoo if you're not already. It's management fee free contest. Like you can't beat that anywhere. Literally, it's the best contest you'll find every single day. If you're playing MLB DFS, if you're grinding, that's a way your ROI should be better in that tournament than any other tournament on any other site.
Absolutely. So let's see here. I guess I better stop waiting for the old Angels here. So I'm going to run, I like to play the tiers contest there on DK. It's sort of a test of the projection systems that you use, and ours have been pretty good. So I like to run those. I usually get up 40 or 60 lineups. They've been doing a few mini maxes now and then there. It's usually a $5,000 one for $1, Jake, but they've run them out the last couple days. So something to think about. They used to do that on the subslates for NBA, the subslates being either not the main and not the last slate of the night, but the middle ones. And they've done that a little bit more recently, which I think is a good idea because people like to play in the lower stakes. And let's keep people around because we're not that far away from NFL, and it's cheaper to keep people around than try to acquire new people. So come on, get these payout structures working for us. What was the biggest surprise that you had today amongst your lineups?
Just the amount of top pitchers I got. So like Sale, I knew I was going to have some Sale, but I did not think I would be over the field. If you guys heard the show this morning, and then also with that, like I figured if I was going to be over on one of these two pitchers, I was not going to be over on the other one. But right now I'm 10% over on both Sale and Morton, which I like. I like having good pitching if it doesn't sacrifice having a lot of the good bats, and we're getting some bats that project really well. As well as really good pitchers. So what that tells me, it's pretty soft pricing, but I don't know if the ownership is where it should quite be at for Cincinnati and Colorado on DraftKings, especially. On FanDuel, it's a little bit more debatable with Cincinnati, but even the Angels, you saw them put up 13 runs last night. I mean, another good matchup against Wade LeBlanc, and assuming the more we wait, I think the more we should expect to see a funky lineup for one of these Angels out. But assuming they roll out a somewhat normal lineup, they're, I think, a premier stack tonight, and I'm getting one of them.
Yeah, and I'm comfortable with that. They do have plenty of pivots along the way, and you do have some of the later games too. So even if it ends up being Pujols out, you still have got time to change. There's some games going off with some cheap first basemen. If you get to the 7:15 mark, you can come in with Jesus Aguilar or something like that. Just give yourself some time to tweak anything else that you need to. And I've found for baseball, that's probably the best approach that we can hope for. Just to give yourself a chance to be live. And again, that's what I had to do with my my poor little all-day teams here. But, weird stuff happens. I mean, people win tournaments with zeros all the time.
Oh, yeah. All the time. I didn't win a tournament last night, but I had some lineups that were doing really well. And a lot of them, like I think I had multiple, guys with less than 4 DK points on my best lineup last night. So it's just so, like, you need everything to go right to win a tournament, but it's going to happen all the time where like your best lineup is going to be a guy with a 0 or a guy with just 1 walk on the day. And you just got to take that and move it on to the next slate, because there's going to be nights when you run really well and your one-offs all do what they're supposed to.
All right. Sorry, I had to pour another soda there, but let's have some fun. Do we have any questions coming in? Premium Slack, you can at Jake or I, YouTube, throw a few in there, and we will answer as best we can. It's always tricky with these double headers, so you want to make sure that you've got your everything set appropriately, because that is a rough one, as I learned earlier today. But we shall see. I'm still guessing it's going to be. I think it's going to. They're waiting on Pujols and Upton is my best guess there for our friends in. Well, that's weird. Our friends over there in Anaheim.
Why wouldn't they be playing Pujols? I guess is my question.
I think they will. I was just shocked that they didn't play him last night, because the matchup against Mike Leake for a righty is really, really good. He was coming off the All-Star break, and he's generally, you'll see a lot of these sluggers as they start to decline a little bit. They tend to do better against same-handed pitching. So Cabrera, Pujols, we saw it with Prince Fielder, etc. They, for whatever reason, it just seems. Mm-hmm. A lot of them end up that way. They lose just a second off, which it doesn't necessarily make sense, but it's just something that happens with some of them, and it seems to be the case with Pujols. So that was just more my guess, was that would have been the better matchup than tonight. I mean, it's against a less than stellar lefty tonight, but it's not. I mean, it's not. They don't want the wild boar in there for sure, but
right,
they could end up with him unless they move Matt Pace or Fletcher or somebody over there to first base.
Makes sense. Yeah. I thought, by the way, I thought Upton would be really popular for 4K versus a lefty on a team with a 6 implied total. But right now we're just showing 10% ownership on DraftKings, unless I'm seeing something incorrect. Like, I thought he would be one of the higher owned hitters on the slate, but I guess that's what happens when you have Coors. Really, really good value. So I hope he's in, because he's in a lot of my lineups on DraftKings.
Yeah. How are you feeling about anybody from Texas or Houston going against the respective lefties of Wade Miley and Mike Minor?
Right now, I got to Altuve and Bregman. When looking through my lineups, it's looking like it's going to be a lot of two-mans and, one-offs against Minor, because he's a guy I think is really good. He's shown this season he's a good pitcher. So he's not one I'd love to stack against, even in Texas, even against a really dangerous team in Houston. That being said, you're going to get Houston basically unowned as a full stack as people go to these spots with higher implied totals and stuff. So I don't know. I would rather probably stack up Houston, but I'm not getting to a ton of either one of these teams really on either site, it's looking like.
I have a quizzical look on my face because I uploaded my lineups here and they don't like some of these guys in the tiers, so I'm guessing it's that doubleheader mucking it up. So let's go take a peek and see which games are available. We have... No, they do have the doubleheader game in there. Very odd. I wonder where that's crapping out. But you know what? I will solve that problem by just excluding it and hoping that was my issue. Because there's nobody I really have to have in that game.
Yeah.
And these are the fun decisions you get to make when you're on air, playing for cash. Your hard-earned dollars at work. All right, let's run that. Let's export, and then I'll get into the good stuff. We're still 29 minutes away, so plenty of time here. Nothing to worry about. And then let's find out what's going on with Enact's picks here.
Yeah, if anybody has questions or stuff they want to talk about JPOK, man, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I don't know, I try spacing out there doing something. Or just concentrating really hard. But yeah, if you guys have questions, Emacs trying to figure something out. So I will gladly take them as we wait out this Angels lineup. Is it going to be too perfect? We were going to have all the games starting early. There's no West Coast 10 Eastern lock or start time tonight. So this is the latest game on the slate, but it's one that we usually get in with relative ease as far as getting the lineup well before the 7 Eastern lock. So just classic there. Makad has a question. We can do this when we usually do this later in the slate or later in the show. But the Paul Blackburn of the night. You have Paul Blackburn of the night?
Paul Blackburn of the night. It's got to be, doesn't it have to be by law Matt Harvey?
Yeah, he was the one that first came to my head. I think it's Matt Harvey. I am pleasantly surprised, I guess, to see his projection. Alex must think that he's, like I said, that he is good enough to at least be in play. He's got him projected for about 8.5 DraftKings points. You'd want a little bit more out of him, and I think someone asked that question earlier, what's the score you would want from Harvey for him to be worth it, for him to not hurt you tonight, I guess is how they put it. And I think double digits you'd like to get to that 15-point range. I don't know how realistic that is, but I think if he gets you double digits tonight, you're probably okay, assuming you get the right expensive bats that make that lineup construction a competitive tournament lineup. So,
yeah, I would think that would be about right. I guess it's not going to feel comfortable. You're going to have him waiting, and then you could see the Mariners waste him with 4 runs in the first inning, and then we would be sad.
Do you have any Seattle bats going against Harvey?
Isn't it about time for the home run of the night?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a good call. We're actually, yeah, man, we're lagging behind on the home runs. So let's update the sheet. I can pull it up if you don't have it up already.
I do not have it up. I'm just pulling
All
down the old DraftKings final list of my contests, so I know how many gazillions of lineups I need to make here, and we'll start that crunch. And that crunch will be a little easier since I don't have the variables of Avisel Garcia not really working out for me. That he was the guy that was tripping up my lineups. So get him out of there. Get him out of there.
All right, so both of us are tied with total dogs. You have the correct pick lead. You have 17. I have 16. Do we even need to mention the other two guys? I mean, they're just so far behind. But Chris has 12 home runs on the season. Let's see. Josh has 10. Those guys both have.
Go look at when Josh's last correct pick was.
It's been over a month, so I know that. Chris Randone doesn't have one in his last 3. He goes off the board, though. But he has been very good with his off-the-board calls. So no one had a dong last night. You took Didi. I took Gleyber Torres. Chris took Goldschmidt. Josh did not make a pick. Maybe taking a couple of days off after the All-Star break to get his mind right and make his dong pick return to relevance here. But do you have one queued up that you're eager to take?
You know who I'm going back to, my guy.
Danny Vogelbach?
Danny Vogelbach.
There you go. That's perfect. All right, I'm going to put that in for you.
The beefy first baseman, that's the key. That's the key to all of this. See, it would have been Matt Adams potentially. That would have been a bit of a reach, which would have been fun. But today it is going to be Mr. Vogelbach yet again. He might be the guy I've picked the most, which is interesting because he has about a 240 career average, a little higher than that this season. But it's just because he had a bit of a dumpster dive in his trips up from AAA Tacoma last year. But yeah, I'm good with Vogelbach. It takes the weather into account. It takes Matt Harvey into account, and I'm comfortable with it. And I can at least be alive until the last game of the night, which is sometimes all we can hope for.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Always nice to be around until late, at least have sweat for something in case
everything else is going sideways.
In case the lineup are working out. All right, I took a Yankee last night. Can't take one of those. Can't take Coors. I'm going to take. I don't want to take anyone of the Angels yet, just in case their lineup's weird and I have to pivot. But actually, I'm just going to take an Angel. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take Ohtani, lefty here, so no one can get mad at me as far as taking a chalk pick. Shohei Ohtani is my pick. I think I've picked him like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, you've gone a lot, and you've done several lefties.
Have I?
With Ohtani, you have.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so I'm not just taking the chalk most nights, at least.
And I see in Premium Chat, I just dropped my link again to the Spotlight Hitters article. So here was my thoughts on St. Louis. You know, it's a tougher matchup against Merrill Kelly, the 30-year-old rookie who has 5 years in the minors, 5 years in Korea, and then this year in the majors. He has been it's been a little bit of a rough go against righties recently. We don't have a ton of a track record with him. It's very hard to map over what's been going on in Korea. We do have decent looks at minor league players coming up, players coming over from Japan because we have a more of a track record and better calibration, both from not only Japanese players coming over, but from players in the U.S. going over there and playing and sometimes coming back. Was it Tuffy Rhodes that lived over there forever and was the home run king for a while there? But we've seen, I think, Cecil Fielder, I think, was there for a bit, and he came back, and some others. So a little bit better, transitive properties, shall we say, for those guys. But it's tough for Merrill Kelly. So the guys I like are, going to be Carpenter, Goldie, DeJong, and then I didn't see who else made that lineup, but I'm assuming O'Neill or Bader is in. Let me get up there. So O'Neill's batting 5th. That's perfectly fine. Matt Wieters getting some action. He is a switch hitter. When healthy, he's been good. He just has been around forever, and he's been banged up about half of his career. But I don't mind him at a $3,200 price point batting 7th. But the guys I like would be Carpenter, DeJong, Goldie, O'Neill, and then probably Wieters. Not really a fan of Dexter Fowler, personally.
Yeah, I think Man, Goldschmidt, it just feels like he hasn't done anything all season. At least when I've played him. He's homered, though, a couple times in July so far, so maybe he's starting to turn around, but kind of a lost season so far for him. DeJong is probably my favorite Cardinal on the slate. I didn't find the need to get to a ton of Cardinals. I thought I would get to them more as fillers, at least on DraftKings, where they're just way too cheap. But DeJong would be my favorite guy, and then probably Goldschmidt after that.
All right, I'm going to put up the old... why is that not...
Can we get a cash game pivot off of Sale FanDuel real quick?
Sure.
My question would be, okay, first of all, I guess the answer to that would probably be Morton, I would say, but why wouldn't you play Sale in cash? I guess would be my question.
A tougher matchup going against the Dodgers, but I think you want to... It's hard. This is a tough matchup. Makes me a little bit nervous.
For sure. But, like, if nothing else, he's probably going to get you strikeouts. And he's, let's see, where's more than that? I lost this time. Oh, okay. 11.5. Sale is 10.7. If you're trying to get an extra bat upgrade, $800 is a pretty big difference for a guy in Sale who we have projecting as the better overall play. So Sale would be the cash option for me. But if you wanted to pivot, I guess you would go to the next guy and Charlie Morton.
Do you think I like our projection of Kyle Freeland at 1 on DK?
So that just goes to show you how Alex is this game going. And that's why you're seeing, let me see this updated total. Alex's updated total on the Cincinnati team implied. They are at 7.5. Colorado's at 7.3. So he thinks Freeland is bad, and he thinks he's going to get touched up here. That's one of the lower projections I've seen for a pitcher that's stretched out. That's wild.
Well, we talked about that, but let's just hit the high notes here for people. He was banished to the minors after 59 innings in the show this season. 7.13 ERA, 1.57 WHIP, 16 home runs allowed in those 59 innings. He went down to AAA, went to Albuquerque. That's in the PCL, a little hitter-friendly down there. He allowed an 8.8 ERA, a 1.888 WHIP, and 28 strikeouts in his 29 innings. But good God, he got worse. The ground balls have abandoned him, which is a problem, especially in Coors Field. So I mean, this is where Suarez is just a tasty matchup for him today.
Yeah, would be surprising if he doesn't hit a dong here. It's just such a good spot against a pitcher that's been so bad for a guy who smashes lefties, smashes everything, but now in the best hitting environment you can ask for in Coors Field too.
All right, my best Twitter enemy is going to get mad at me, but I'm going to put this out on air because he was a big winner last night. But he did just send me a note. That would be Seth Hater in YouTube chat. But he says the single entry on DK or FanDuel for $1, sponsored by Odo Einders. Never heard of them. But looks like that one might overlay. It's 18% away from being full. Again, single entry for $1. So if you want to throw one in on FanDuel, let's just make a quick lineup, Jake, because why not take my attention away from DraftKings right now? I said I liked Cincinnati and the Mariners and Atlanta and Los Angeles. But if I go Vogelbach, we're going to go Narvaez, just for fun to be different. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to go over here to Coors Field. And who do we like here on Coors Field? We've got...
Who don't we like?
I think we go with Suarez.
Okay.
I think, do we want Iglesias or Story? A little expensive. I mean,
any of them. Whichever four you can get in. Honestly.
I want Blackman tonight. I want Senzel because they're leading off. I want Dahl. And it looks like I'm going to end up pitching Matt Harvey. But it's $1, and why not? Peraza is 2,800. Let's drop him in there. And now I've got not a lot of money left. So let's put in the cheapest shortstop I can find. Oh, look, Iglesias, 3,000. That would give me 6,100 for pitching. Is there anybody there No, except for Matt Harvey at 6,000.
Wow.
I think this is a message from God. Harvey, Vogelbach, Perez, Suarez, Iglesias, Blackman, Senzel, Dahl, and Narvaez. Boom, entering that one. Who's going to play a catcher? I am. And there we are. That's how you build on FanDuel.
So that's, in theory, that's how you're supposed to build. You prioritize your hitting first. At least this is what Alex.
On a night like tonight, absolutely. Normally, I'm a one pitcher site guy. I go for the best pitcher. I don't know who the best pitcher is tonight. That's the problem. So
fair.
Let's roll the dice with Harvey. If he gets us, I don't even know what 15 FanDuel points equates to on DK. What is that, like 6 points probably? There will not be a quality start for Harvey. There's an outside chance there's a win. I'm hoping for 3 or 4 innings, 3 or 4 strikeouts, and he survives with maybe a solo shot to Vogelbach. I'm in.
That's the nut scenario for you, right?
Done and done, as they say. And Seth, look at that. Playing 2, not 1, but 2 lefties against my pitcher. Seth is now beating his head against his desk. It's awesome.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's just so tough when you're hand building like that, and you have all the hitters you want, and it's like, yes, this lineup is amazing, and then you put in the pitcher spot. You got to make that one pitcher spot count, and it's Matt Harvey. So that's always a tough time, but more often than not, you're going to want to be building your stacks first and then worry about pitching later. It's a little bit different on a one pitcher site, but especially on a 2 pitcher site.
Now talking about stacks, let's make some teams here. Oh, looks like I have enough entries to make 500 lineups, so let's have some fun, Jake. Let's have some fun. Now, I don't mind doubling up because for whatever reason they were spawning a bunch of these little dime time contests, so I was just entering those for fun. I'll double up on those with what I'm doing in the other contests because why not? And it's just amusing. But if you're trying to get those milestones, apparently they're giving them away for free at this point, which, there you go. I've cleared most of them, but enjoy. Do we have any other good questions coming in? Who was you had Ohtani, I had Vogelbach as our home runs of the night. We like the lefties in the same game. I'm sure I will be obnoxious. No, actually, I know I will be obnoxious tonight if Vogelbach does get one. So, incoming! It's going to happen. Just want to point that out. What's your highest owned stack? As you were retweaking a little bit there, I believe.
Yeah, right now it looks like it's about split on. Actually, no, it's not split. It's Cincinnati on DraftKings, then the Angels, then Colorado. Actually, after that, I'm actually getting to a bunch of Seattle stacks, or at least Seattle hitters that are getting quality ownership, which is exactly what I want when I'm playing a bunch of Harvey, just in case he implodes. I want to have some chalky stacks going against Harvey, who's actually getting a little bit of ownership as well. And then on FanDuel, let's see where I'm at here. Ton of sale. Wow, 40+% Trout. That's not even that far off from where he's at on DraftKings. Angels are my number 1 stack on FanDuel. A team that I wasn't expecting to get to that I am getting to quite a bit on FanDuel is actually the Detroit Tigers. Got to 16% Castellanos. I got to, let's see, Brandon Dixon in double digits. I got to Victor Reyes, like just not great hitters. Besides Castellanos is a very good hitter. But going up against Keller, they are cheap and they help me fit in Sale plus a lot of other really good hitters. So not as heavy on Coors on FanDuel as I am on DraftKings.
Who was your more popular cheap pitchers on DK that you have?
Those guys were, let me see here. We just got an ownership update, actually. I have Keller is my number 1 cheap pitcher.
What percentage?
I got him at 33.3%. So okay. Whew, that's tough. Teheran 26, and then Harvey 16, Davies 12, Hudson 10. So got a good mix of 5 of them. kind of the 5 obvious guys, not going really off the board like I was last night with Felix Pena, which ended up working out.
That one was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was a heck of a performance all around by the Angels. But he saved me. He actually helped me profit, which was a good thing because I was getting destroyed before that Angels game. They brought it back for me. Okay.
All right, running my 4-4s, and they're going slowly.
Oh, I bet. We still don't have this Angels lineup, do we?
Nope.
It's crazy. Upton, Trout, and Otani are probably going to be out, and then all my lineups are going to be dead.
So, oh shit, I hit the wrong button, and I went away from my crunch that was in progress, and I'm on a new site. Now I got to restart this mess. Reminder, this would have been Tyler Skagg's birthday today if I was reading the articles correctly this morning, so I suspect another emotionally tough game or emotionally charged game for these guys. I don't know that should change our behavior at all, but just did want to put that out there as something that is going on in that clubhouse. So we'll see what they're gonna do tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's another really good matchup for the Angels, and I can't really expect another 8-9 runs in the first inning, but I would expect them to more often than not in the spot tee off on Wade LeBlanc, which I'm hoping they do tonight at least, because I've got all the Angels in the world, especially on DraftKings, and that's the site where I'm playing most of my volume tonight. So just loading in these ownership projections, because there's just no way I'm going to be able to crunch if we get this Angels lineup. Going to have to do some manual Excel work if that's what it calls for, if someone's out of this lineup, which I'm sure someone
will be.
Yeah, someone that we're expecting to be in this lineup. Hopefully just one player. Maybe it's like Rengifo's out or something, but I doubt it. It's probably going to be Upton or someone like that, which is going to cause some problems for me, because then I won't be able to start my Saturday night.
Fun plans this evening?
Oh, no, not really. Probably just going to get something to eat with a couple buddies after this and see where that takes us. But no big plans, at least. Why? You got any suggestions what I should be doing?
No, sadly I do not.
All right.
How much Upton did you end up with?
DraftKings. Actually, let me. I just repasted all my lineups in because we got a new ownership update. On DK, Upton is at 24%, probably even higher than that actually when I start filtering out more stuff. What about you?
I am looking at like 17%.
Whew.
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I like it, though. I'm good with it. It's going to cost me Charlie Blackmon a little bit, but that's okay. All right, it's got my 4-2s run. I got the 4-4s run. Now I'm going to run the 5-2s and put these together. Now you'd sort of asked what I do previously, and I know a few people have asked about this. I don't do the same kind of sorting that our Excel wizards, Adam, Jake, and Josh do, and of course Alex and Tom. However, you would think I would, since I've been using Excel since longer than 3 of the 5 of you guys were born. But hey, whatever. I tend to do this a little more manually, so I am pretty stringent with my caps on my stacks. And then the one thing I do leave is a bailout, where I started that conversation where I said I'll run 80, 80, 80, which will get me another 20%. That's where I'm like, okay, what teams am I missing if I go back? And the thing you can do is you can download fantasy your stuff, load it in, hit Swaptimizer, load your CSV into Swaptimizer, and see who you're standing out on. If you can't tell if you're missing somebody, you're missing some leverage spots. Perhaps tonight it will be against Tehran or something. I'll probably earmark a certain amount of those extra lineups going with stacks again, because right now I have like 5% San Diego. I'd like to get my overall number up to about 7% San Diego just for the leverage. So I'll probably throw in those last few lineups on that. We'll see where I am with Seattle, etc. I should probably give Vogelbach a little boost since he is my home run of the night, right?
Oh yeah, you gotta be heavy on Vogelbach, especially against Harvey. If Harvey's getting ownership, I mean, I'm playing Harvey, so maybe I'm a fish, but like, yeah, you get to play Big Danny Vogelbach as your home run pick. Like that should be a guy you're targeting heavily, right?
Oh, I think so. I'll probably end up with 20% Vogelbach tonight. Because there's really no good first baseman in Coors Field. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great options. I mean, Murphy first base eligible?
He is. I'm on the fence with him. On Yahoo, Vogelbach was 20, so I think I have one or two Murphy lineups, but I've tried to save there a little bit of Jesus Aguilar just because he was the minimum, etc. If I look here, yep, I'll be coming in about 25% of Vogelbach. And now I'm running my sort of empty 5-0s. I'm going to run my empty 4s here, and then I will be good to go.
All right.
I haven't run my 4s yet. We got 5 minutes left before lock, so hey, pressure is on.
What I usually do is take out the top like 5 to 10% total ownership lineups that I have in my crunch, just because those are lineups I don't really want much to do with. Because if you're making 600, taking out 30 lineups isn't that big of a deal. Those are lineups that are very likely to be duped, or much more likely than my next 30 lineups after that. So that's just what I like to do. So that's what I was doing right now. None of the ownerships have really changed based on our last ownership update. Maybe Colorado came up just a bit for me, and LA down just a tad. Looks like they're getting a little more attention, but same top 3, Cincinnati, then LA, then Colorado for me. So looking forward to hopefully not a night of disappointment. Hopefully a ton of runs in the games we expect a lot of runs from.
All right, now I've got to do... I didn't get the San Diego that I wanted, so I'm just going to run 20 San Diego lineups. Probably should, lock in someone like, say, Hunter Renfroe, just because.
Yeah, I think Seth signs off on that play, too.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's all about. Whatever makes Seth happy is going to be the key.
All right.
Manny Machado barely coming in at all for me. Interesting. Not much Fernando Tatis either.
I didn't get to a bunch of San Diego, which I thought I would, but no, not a lot of San Diego for me. I was able to do what I was trying to do without them. So we will see how that works out. I'm going to be kicking myself if San Diego is the team that banks everything, and we just got the Angels lineup. That is amazing.
Who's out?
Let's see. We have Fletcher, Trout, Ohtani, Upton, Simmons, Pujols, Calhoun, Smith, Rengifo.
Okay, Smith in for probably whoever the placeholder catcher was. I think you said Fletcher, and then we do know that...
was Calhoun expected to be in?
Yeah. Wait, Upton's in, right?
Upton's in. We're not missing anyone, are we? That was the same lineup, besides Rengifo and someone swapped.
The catcher.
It's
because Smith came off the DL not that long ago.
I'm pretty sure we have Smith in, though.
Oh, we may have. Some sites did not.
Yeah, we had Smith in. So let's see. Do we have Calhoun in is the question. I don't think we had Cole Calhoun in. So that is, who was the other Angel that we were missing? Calhoun. Oh, we did have Calhoun in.
Moment of truth. Time to upload. Is it going to work? Have I screwed anything up? Am I going to see red?
Let's see.
Nope, I am good. Wow. That was... I may need a beer after this, Jake.
That's right. Calhoun. Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't get any Cole Calhoun, which is weird because I got a ton of Angels. But,
lefty. He actually has decent power against lefties. He still has his ass 240 batting average, but against lefties, he does have a little bit of power.
Calhoun was in the Osmo projected lineup. Silly. Yeah, he was. Okay. Sweet. So I just didn't get any of him, which is gonna be really annoying when the Angel stack goes nuts and Calhoun double dogs. But
Late slate. That's why we play late slate, Jake.
it's only a 2-gamer tonight
There's a 4-gamer.
on FanDuel.
DK, I believe.
Is there?
Is there not? Well, that's how I wrote the article, as if there would be.
I think. Let's see. I'm actually not sure about that. Okay, let me make sure all my lineups are in.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Everything froze on me. Hopefully, we're still broadcasting.
Okay, I got all my lineups in. It looks like. So that's the most important thing. Outside of that, I got to figure out if I'm going to try to get some Cole Calhoun exposure. But yeah, it looks like DraftKings only has their featured slate is the night slate, and it's 2 games.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's where that big $10 is, or decent sized $10 is. That's where the mini max is. So.
All right, this is where I like to, as soon as we hit lock, I go to the Swaptimizer, I upload my lineups just so I can get a full percentage of what I've got going on, because I run all these different stacks. Oh, good God, this is going to be fun. Sale 25, Keller 25, Morton 25, Davies 22, Bauer 20, Harvey 19, Dakota Hudson, who I'm fine with, ground ball matchup in the heavy weather, or the heavy humidity and hot weather there in St. Louis. 10% Tehran, I'm good with. 10% Nola, 7% Corbin, 6% Odorizzi, only 6% Matt Boyd. Little disappointed in that. 47% Dahl, 40% Trout, 30 for Puig and Senzel, 27 for Upton, 25 for Blackman. You can tell where I'm going. Those are my outfielders. Nobody else more than 7. Story coming in at 31, Peraza at 23, De Jong 13, Machado at 12. They're multi-position eligible. Arenado at 30, Suarez at 26, Altuve at 37 because that price is just ridiculous. Mike Brousseau, come on down. 22% of my lineups. Ryan McMahon 10, Vogelbach 23.5. Let's dong tonight. Goldie 12, Murphy only first base eligible at this point, but he's on 20%. Casali 25, Mejia 14, Stasi 13, Dustin Garneau. Garneau made the lineup, right? No, I got to go fix those Garneaus. There's the guy. So I got 12% Garneau I got to deal with. That's okay. Let's go look for a global swap.
You could probably do that with Smith, no?
I'm hoping. We shall see soon enough. I'm running so many lineups. It'll take a second for this to load. But a reminder, we are going to be on noon tomorrow. There'll be Josh Engelman and myself live before lock covering the games. I think there's a 4-game late slate. We do have a Sunday night game, I believe, which we did not last week because of the All-Star break. So that is always fun to check out and keep an eye on. What else? What other fun stuff do we have? NASCAR locks in 23 minutes. Free article on the homepage there. Only two drivers failed tech. The guy in last place, I forget who it was, but he's horrible. He stayed in 36th. And then, I'm blanking on his name. Some guy dropped from 23rd to 35th. Should probably find that name out. Let me look at that real quick here. Only because he is turned into chalk. It's a regular driver. Why am I actually ran into him. I went to a NASCAR race and I probably saw him 5 different times in the infield the day before the race, which was just wild. So I do want to bring that up. It is Ryan Newman was the guy. He looks like your average everyday schlub that you would run into, just like me, just like you. Well, we're not all as handsome and young and as you are, Jake, but in 20 years, you will be us. So enjoy. But Ryan Newman dropped to the back. You've got a stalwart, stellar driver there that is someone that you'll want to keep an eye on. Who was the catcher that I lost? Garneau. 2,900. Yikes. Who do we have? We do not have... Oh, I've got Mejia. I can always just go to Mejia. Make sure. Mejia, Maldonado, Smith, Pena. God, I like Manny Pena batting 7th. I'm going to take Mejia. Whatever. Just amongst friends. I'm all good. I've got live lineups. That's all we need, Jake. That is all we need. They're asking Lucchesi or Tehran. Lucchesi. Tough matchup. He's a really good lefty. He's very talented. Nothing ever comes easy against Atlanta, but that is one of our better ballpark weather games out there, and he's going to be very unpopular as opposed to Tehran. Tehran does have some issues against righties. That righty power has been tough against him for the last year and a half, but his price is right on the sites. That's why we're seeing Tehran being popular.
Yeah, that's fair. Tehran is going to be really popular. So if you're playing just one lineup, I'd probably go with Lucchese.
Yep. All right. With that, we're going to dip on out of here. I think we've hit all of the good stuff. Let's see. You can follow Jake on Twitter at Jake Hari. I'm at EMACDFS. Of course, is Osmo_COM. Give me about, I'm going to need some dinner, about an hour. That the Spotlight Stacks article will be up for tomorrow's games. I already know for the afternoon game, third day in a row, I'm going against a Mariner. We're going against UC Kikuchi, who has allowed, I think, 19 home runs in his 80-ish innings thus far, or 17 or something along those lines. It's been bad. It has been very, very bad. So he's the guy I'm definitely picking on for the late slate. We'll have to see what I put on for the main slate and the afternoon slate. But that article will be posted shortly. You can, of course, find those on Osmo_COM on Twitter. I tweet them out. Jake likes to like them, retweet them, and then we'll link back and forth between our various free content. I know some of you guys live in front of the paywall, but come on. Win a tournament, rep the avatar, and you can get free 30 days of Osmo Premium. All the instructions, I'm going to drop that link in chat before we get on out of here. Final thoughts, Jake, as I multitask.
Good luck tonight, guys. Watch the show tomorrow with Josh and Emac. It's always a good one. And then I'll be back Monday with.
I believe I am debuting a new shirt that my wife made me.
Oh, really?
It's not the Sean V t-shirt. What would Sean V do? Heart Sean, right there for you, buddy. But I've got a new shirt that I will be debuting tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to have to check that one out then. Even more of a reason to do so.
Excellent. Yeah, we now have a heat press in our house, and she's got this little Cricut cutter thing, and she's been doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So she usually makes fun shirts for me, just kind of as a test run on whatever new product she gets of the different. It's not vinyl, but whatever the lame. Well, I don't even know what it's called, but the stuff that she does the heat press on the what is that stuff called that's on your shirt? Not a label. Vinyl? It's not vinyl. I'm missing the appropriate word. But in any event, I've got one I'm showing off for tomorrow, so it'll be a fun one. She's pretty crafty with that. She made this incredibly intricate one for her friend who's really into yoga, and it probably took her 8 hours to cut out all the little designs. It turned out to be awesome, though. So these are one of a kind birthday presents and other gifts that she's been giving, because people can use them, and it's fun, and they're one of a kind.
Nice.
Plastic, embroidery. Yeah, I'll have to ask her what the word is. We'll tune in tomorrow. I'll know the appropriate terminology for all the accoutrements. One, t-shirt. I've got that one down. The other part, we'll have to figure out. It could be vinyl. Who knows? But with that, gamers, we're getting on out of here. So good luck.